All right, today I want to talk a little bit about how to study for this semester 1 final. Would everybody go into Schoology, please, and find this folder. It's the last one in there. It says Review for Semester 1 Final. In there, you will find the very last link is called Review Videos for the Semester 1 Final. Now, for me, they don't show up here. I don't know. For you, they might. But I have to click the top, and then it brings me to this Google folder. If you aren't logged in with your school Google account, you'd have to log in there. And now, yay, they're over here. What are they? They are videos that I have. I'm pausing for a second. So here is a list of videos, and there's 2 that I wouldn't watch. They have forbidden information? No. I'm going to have the sub, when I'm gone next week, play 2 videos. And why would you want to watch them ahead of time if they're going to play them? So here's the 2 that will get played in class. This one is about Chapter 6, Polynomials. And it's one I feel like a lot of people could benefit from. And the other one is Chapter 8. That's the other one I would not watch because I'm going to ask the sub to play those in class on Monday and Tuesday, the review days. So during those, I'm going to ask that you pay attention, just as if I was standing here. The video is me recorded, and I was teaching kids just like you in this class to, okay, got it. I would not watch those 2 because I'm going to show them in class, okay? But all the other ones are ones that would be good to watch. You don't have to watch them all. But, you know what would be kind of smart is watch with the fast forward. You know, like, go, do I remember this? Yeah, I remember this. Fast forward a little bit. Do I remember this stuff? Ooh, wait a minute. I don't remember that at all. Watch me reminding people how to do it. Because if I could, between now and Friday, cover every single thing you'd need to know for the final, it would take that many hours of video. There's no way I could do that all. So you have to like zero in yourself on which areas you want to practice. Now, some people, sadly, when given total freedom, choose to do absolutely nothing. Same thing happens in college. It's like, okay, you only have like 4 hours of class. The rest of the time is you got to structure it. People are like, woohoo! They just go to 4 hours of class and do absolutely nothing, and they fail out of college. Because you got to learn to manage your time. You got to learn when to study, how much to study. Well, you got some freedom here. But I am suggesting you study for the final. This is going to be one of the harder math finals that you've ever had. It is graded in Marzano style, which means 75% gets you an A. Okay. But it's not an easy test. All right. One more thought. Besides doing this, what else can you do to study for your final? Actually doing the take-home final really well is helping you study for the final. You might think, oh, if it's on the take-home, it won't be on the final. Not true. It can be on the take-home and on the other final. Okay, so by studying the take-home and trying to do a really good job on that, if you're having trouble on a take-home one, you can find help in these videos too. That's not illegal. And by the way, when does the take-home final due? Friday. Hard deadline of Friday. We will be grading it Friday. Unlike the labs where I can push them off, I can't push this one off because I'm not here to grade it if I wait till later, right? Okay. All right, so what are we going to do actually today? I'm going to pause for a second and put up a couple questions that I want to try with you right now to just squeeze a few minutes of review out of today. Okay, so imagine it's the test, and they say f of x is this, g of x is that. Well, first off, just to get your brain kind of moving, what do you think d of f even means? The domain of the f function. Would you please figure out the domain of the f function? Remember, domain means what can you safely feed it? And we want the stuff in the root to stay greater than or equal to 0. That's a hint. Then find the domain of g. Then see if you can remember that formula. We referenced it yesterday, so hopefully it's not totally buried deep in your brain. So I got something intersected with something. Figure out that formula. This is an x plus 7, yes? That's what that reads there. It is a little sloppy. I apologize. All right, I'm going to pause for a second. All right, domain of f. Hopefully you were thinking, take that, make it greater than or equal to 0. So then you add 1 to both sides. 2x is greater than or equal to 1. X greater than or equal to 1/2. How many of you had that before I did? Okay, awesome. Mr. S, can you take the DG? Talk me through it. So take the bottom here and set it not equal to 0. Now what? Final answer. There you go. Good. Now, who in here can pull up this formula? Something, some domain, intersected with some other thing. Do you remember this from yesterday? Yes, sir. Domain of f, that's the inside one, by the way, everybody. He's just saying the domain of the inside one. And that's the same as this one. This goes with this. In domain of the other one. If you step back and look at the big picture here, it's just the domain of the inside and the domain of the outside. And then the only extra, like, tricky part is remembering that it's actually f of x, the inside one, in domain of g. So how does that look in a real problem? Well, we have a real problem right here. What is domain of f? I go look for it. And then I put f of x, which is this, and I put it into domain of g. Why don't you try that right now? I know it's hard at the end of the day, but I only need your attention for like 1 more minute. Give this one a shot. Put that in your backpack. So domain of f is x is greater than or equal to 1/2. And then it says intersected with f of x, which is square root of 2x minus 1. So intersected with square root of 2x minus 1. And what does it mean to be in domain of g? You put that square root of 2x minus 1 into this right here. Where could it go in there? Where the x is. So then I say it goes in where the x was, and then I say not equal to -7. So I stuck that into this equation, and we put it right here where the x was. And now I just square both sides. 2x minus 1 equals 49. -7 times -7 is positive 49. You add 1 to both sides, and x equals 25. Oh, wait, not equal. Sorry. Not equal to 25. So that's the one thing that would kill this. You can't let it be 25. Now, I have two things. This intersected with that. In case you forgot, intersect means overlap. So I'm going to make 2 number lines and overlap them. Here's a number line with 1/2 on it. Here's a number line with 25 on it, and it just can't be 25. It can be everything else. That's how you make that. Do you get that the final answer is where these two are going to overlap each other? So here's where they overlap. Between 1/2 and 25, and after 25. So if I was going to write this out in interval notation, it would be from 1/2 to 25. Bracket on the half, you're right. Union with 25 to infinity. It's a tough one. And some of you are like, dang, when am I ever going to use that? Well, do you have a take-home? Did you recognize this? This was a question on the first page of the take-home. If you're like, what? I never saw that. It's because you didn't understand what they were asking. One of the questions said, what's the domain of this? But they said it by using the definition of what a domain is. So I think some people thought, oh, I just got to make the f function eat the g function. No. On the first page of your take-home, there is a question just like this. I think it's near the bottom of the first page. And it's asking about domain, but it never uses the word domain. It uses the definition of domain. Okay, so that should help in two ways. It could come up on the test, and it is definitely on your take-home. All right, we're almost out of time. Questions?
Are we going to get any formulas?
You do get the formulas. Do you remember there was like there was one sheet of formulas on the last test, right? You remember that? You're going to get that sheet again because there's a fair amount of that last test is on the final. Okay, so that formula sheet it's definitely going to be useful. And any other formula we ever gave you in the past, we'll still give you again.
So
Calculators are allowed in the entire final.
are we going to get this?
And that formula, no, we never gave that to you on the test, so that's one you should know. Why am I going over it? Because it's a complicated formula that you should know. Domain of the inside intersected with same function, the inside one, in the other domain. Okay, so last thing. We have, I'm going to pause for a second here. I was going to not give your tests back until Friday, but I realized that with grading the take-home on Friday, that's going to take most of the hour. There'd probably only be 10 minutes left. Some people have more problems than that they need to fix on the most recent test. So if you haven't noticed, I already put them up last night. I stayed up till 12:30, like midnight, and got them all in. Okay? If you've taken it, it's there. If you hadn't taken it yet, obviously it's going to take another couple days to get you graded and put in there. But if you took it and it didn't go so well for you, tomorrow is your day to do the corrections on it, not Friday, because it just can't get it all done. So if during class you do corrections, let's say you had a 80, I am not going to just give the same grade boost to everybody who does corrections. Let's face it, corrections are only like 10 minutes of work. It's not that hard of work, and it's not worth a ton of grade boost. And it's not fair to just give the same thing to everybody, because somebody who got a 50 and only gets 10% has gone, yay, to a 60. That's not much. And a person who has a 92 and says, I deserve to do corrections, I'm not going to give them 10% to go to 102. No way. So there's kind of a sliding scale. If you've got a really high score already and you do corrections, you're not going to move up. I'm not going to take a straight A and move it up. You already got an A, for Pete's sakes. But if you have an 85 or lower than that, then if you do corrections, you'll have a slight grade increase based on doing those corrections. And it is a sliding scale. So if you have a really bad score, I can give you more points back. If you have a B, which is an 85, I'll give you a few points. It's better than no points, because we could just say it is okay with the school's rules. There can be tests that don't have retakes. We could have just done that. Okay, but we want to give you something. All right? So go ahead and look at Skyward. If you're one of those kids, then budget some time in tomorrow for doing some corrections. Any other last questions? Okay, that's all I got for the video for today.